So we met Sybil at the end of last week's episode. What can you tell us about her? She's a siren.
Yeah, Sybil is a siren, and she basically is able to control Damon and Enzo to a certain extent. As we've seen, Enzo is more resistant to that. Damon has succumbed to it a little bit more. We've actually seen her as a figure now, as opposed to just a monster from the vault, and so she's mobile and out in the world. So there's a lot of stuff coming up.
Why does she need to be fed? You guys had to bring evil people to her.
As far as I know, she had to be fed in order to be able to allow her to take a human form.
Okay.
I think. You know, there's all these ins and outs of the mythologies, so I try to keep up to date with all of that. But I think that was why.
Are you going to constantly have to feed her as the series goes on for the rest of the season? Is she always hungry?
Well, she's once she comes to human fruition, she has a different kind of agenda, and she enlists Damon and Enzo on a variety of other kind of evil missions. And we'll see one of those in the next episode with a familiar face.
Do we have any idea sort of what her end goal is or end game is?
Not really at the moment.
Okay.
It's kept pretty mysterious, and I think that's kind of good for business.
The teasers have sort of hinted that she wants to get inside Damon's head and find out what is in his subconscious. Does she know what's in Enzo's? Well, because he didn't switch off the switch, so she must know that Bonnie's out there, right?
Yeah, well, no, she doesn't. He's basically been striving so hard to keep that under wraps, that side of his psyche, and so that's the challenge for Enzo is how am I able to leave these clues without actually thinking about Bonnie in that way, where she's someone who's really significant to him? Because the minute that he starts to think that way, she'll latch onto that and be able to track her down.
What would she do if she did track these people down?
Well, I think in this particular case, she wants as much leverage she can in order to get Enzo to be 100% cooperative. So she's perplexed as to why he's not caving in. She's, I guess, been doing this to people before, and she's never had this much of an issue. But he's a tough nut. He's not very open to being controlled by people. He's very resistant to it. He's also built up a big tolerance to that over the past years of torture that he's undergone. So, yeah, I think if she were to find out about that, she'd presumably use Bonnie as some kind of leverage.
Oh, leave Bonnie alone. There is a scene in the trailer of Bonnie and Enzo. They're talking to each other. It looks like it's in a kitchen. So are they able to have a private conversation at some point in this upcoming episode?
We see them come face to face.
Okay.
And
in the present this time.
In the present, and but however, all that stuff I just mentioned is on the table. So he's basically trying to drop these hints as to what's going on without actually connecting with her. So it's a really difficult thing for him to have to do, because he still feels so many things for her that he's had to suppress.
How hard is he going to fight to save Damon?
Well, I think we find out quickly that Damon is not as resistant to Sybil, and he's almost encouraging Enzo to join the dark side. And so it's a bit of a losing battle at the moment, trying to convince Damon to do that. But also with Sybil around, it's not an easy negotiation to happen, because she does have eyes and ears